Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to set up a simple and automated offboarding system for your agency. Here is a quick overview of what we're building, and then I'll show you step by step, because I made it very simple and easy for you to be able to copy paste this into your own operation. So this is just an example for us to play with, but let's say the offboarding date arrives and your process is to disconnect from the client accounts, send all the deliverables, SOPs and documentation, mention that you offer support and what is your offer, mention also a referral program, send an official offboarding email to legalize everything and make it really official, and then archive the Slack channel and also the project management for that client. Also, you can add a bunch of other things like updating the CRM, and you can add a bunch of things in between these steps, but I want to keep it very simple for you to copy paste this into your own and then build on top of this. So let me show you. We are using Make to automate everything, and for the client management part I'm using Airtable, but you will have your own and you can adapt for it. Let's say that this starts once you move the client to the stage of offboarding. And so what happens is we set up an automation here to be when a record that is in the client's table and matches that the stage is offboarding, we then run this little script that is basically sending the information of that client and of that table to a webhook in Make. And if you haven't done webhooks in Make, or it's not something that you're used to, you go to Make and you'll see this little button like this. You click on the plus, select webhooks or search for them, and you can find this custom webhook, which has an instant tag. You will click on the add button, name this whatever you want to name, like it, not whatever, but you should specify exactly what the task that this will do or what information it's receiving and from where. So let's say this is offboarding video. We click save and you get this webhook link here. You copy it and then you paste it into this script. So you would paste it here, for example, and that would automatically send to there. So this happens every single time that a stage is offboarding. Of course, you would have to turn all of these on, including the make scenario. Then what happens is we receive that it's time to offboard the client, and so we create a record in the tasks table. So in your whatever tasks project management board that you may have, you can automatically create something that it's like completely offboarding for company name. This would be a variable that you'd add once you run this to test. You'd get a bunch of all the information would be here for you to select. So you would just select the company name because you would have access for it, hopefully. And then you would also select if you want, and well, it would be important to add the email for the person that is going to be assigned this task. So this can be you, can be the client success manager that is managing that client. It would automatically get added here, depending on information that you have also on the base. So you'd have here which client it is, and then you'd have a column for which person is managing this client, for example. So you would add that person there, and then the status for this task as to do. Also, something that you can do is send a simple Slack message on whatever channel you want for this type of notifications. And for that, you just create here, you click on the plus button, you look for Slack, and you look for the one that is create a message. And then you will have to select the channel, connect if you haven't connected already, and select the channel that you want to send. And then just add the text for that notification. So for example, new offboarding task assigned to the name of the person, and also if you want and have on the here on the base or on the table that you're using, if you have the Slack IDs for the person also that is managing the client, you can tag them and they will be notified on Slack immediately because they were tagged. So this is a very nice way to do notifications in Slack. Once that is done, well, the person will have access to see, let's say, these parts of your system. So I just quickly set this up as an example. Let me just tick this off. This is like the offboarding stage of your system, and every client that has that tag of offboarding will appear here because we are filtering this by where the stage is offboarding. So these are only clients that need to be offboarded. And then it's basic. You have the company name, some details for them, the internal drive and external drive because you may need them for these tasks. And then it's a basic process that you can have an SOP for, with were the accounts disconnected, so the person would disconnect and tick the box, send all the documentation and deliverables, tick the box, mention everything that needs to be mentioned, and they would just go step by step and do this very well. And they can add, of course, some notes or comments if it's important. Then once all of this is done, the magic part is actually the automating the last part of the offboarding, right? So what we have here is just a button to complete the offboarding, and we have a message that's like, once only click the button if every task is ticked, because this will trigger the last part, which is that official offboarding email. It will also archive the Slack channel automatically, and it will move the client into the post offboarding email sequences, because you may want to upsell them into other services that you may have. So what happens here is you would set up a button that automatically, and then you can choose the logics that you want, but as an example I put here the offboarding official email is official email sent is ticked, right? So it's checked, and that would trigger the automation. So the colors you can choose, and then it would have completing offboarding because it would be in progress. So if we clicked here, it would start the second automation, which is sending another webhook. So for that, we would have a second automation, which is we pass the offboarding to the final stage, which is archiving everything. And the trigger is when all of those checkboxes are ticked from whatever SOP you may have for offboardings, and the final one of official email sent is also ticked, because as you remember, this one is the one that is ticked with the button. So even if they click the button and all of this is not checked, it wouldn't work. And for that, then you can have a second thing that would, well, it would manage everything, but let's keep it simple. Here is the same thing as the previous step that previous automation that I showed you. You just add here the webhook that you create for this second step. So the second step is we receive the webhook, and then we archive the channel. So this is using a Slack app, and it's an API request. So if you don't know how to do this and you haven't done it before, I have a previous video going over it on my YouTube channel, so you can go there and check it out to understand fully how to do it. But briefly, the URL for this API call is this Slack conversation archive. We do a post, we add here your own secret token for the bot, and then the item here is the key is channel, and you use the value for the channel, and you take this value from the Slack channel ID on your table, because you should have it there also, so that you can know which channels needs to be tagged for other notifications that you have in your agency, etc. So you would just grab that thing from these variables of this webhook, and it would be good to go. The important thing for this specific step when you want to do archive channels is on your Slack app. And if you see the video, the previous video, you'll understand all of this. But you need to have these bot token scopes. You need to add one for groups rights. So this is managing private channels that this bot was added to. And then you just, how to add it is here in the authorization scope. You just look for groups rights and it will be there to add. So you need that to be able to have, for the app, to have the permissions to execute this archive of the channel. Once that is done, we have the official email to be sent. So again, it's a very simple, both of these are very simple steps. You just add here either an HTTP make a request module or an email, not this one, sorry, an email sends email. You can also add Gmail if you want, but it's the same thing. Here we add the client email. So again, you would have this variable on the webhook, and you can just immediately grab it because you have the information on your project management or whatever thing you're using. And then the subject for that email and whatever content you want to use on the body of the email, right? To officialize everything, maybe you want to send a document, and if so, you can add an attachment. But for you to add these attachments, you would have to map this ideally from this webhook, so you'd have that there. But that's already going over the simple version of this offboarding. Finally, how do we make sure that the offboarding is officially complete after sending the email? Is we update the records to have here of the client. Let's load it. All right, we update the record with the record ID from these webhooks. We put the stage as archive. So we pass it to archive, and we put here on the checklist that the official email was sent, and the Slack channel is archived. So we tick these two boxes because we also have those two boxes to be ticked, and we move it to archive so that it disappears from this offboarding page, because as you remember, we're only showing the ones at the current stage is offboarding. So it would disappear from here, which means that this had been completed and the client was successfully offboarded. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please leave a like. I hope it was useful and you can really implement some of these things or all of them on your own business, and then you can build on top of this. So if you want, subscribe to the channel, because I'll be doing one video every day, and I'm already doing one video every day for the month of January. And if you want, it's all about automations, AI, and data analytics to improve the operations and systems of businesses. So leave a like, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.